Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something pretty interesting in professional football. A new approach, really, for how clubs tackle, well, one of their biggest jobs, recruitment.
Yeah, deciding who to bring in. It's huge.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack a platform called SquadAssist.
Right. SquadAssist is essentially trying to give professional football clubs a much clearer insight into what a player actually brings. And we're talking beyond just, goals and assists.
Okay, because clubs spend, what, billions every year on transfers?
Oh, massive amounts. Think around 22 billion globally. And honestly, a lot of it still comes down to gut feelings, subjective opinions.
Disconnected data points, maybe.
Yeah.
Scouts see one thing, analysts another.
Precisely. And the result? You see these really expensive signings sometimes, players who just don't perform as expected, or maybe they don't fit the specific team setup.
Yeah, you hear about that all the time. Missed opportunities, too. Maybe players who offer great value but get overlooked.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been a unified way to connect sort of on-field performance with the actual financial side, the investment aspect.
So SquadAssist is positioning itself as the solution here, a predictive tool.
Yeah, exactly. It aims to help clubs figure out not just if a player is good, but if they're the right investment for that specific club, short-term impact and long-term value.
Okay, let's get into that. How does it actually do that? What does it predict?
So it focuses on a few key value predictions. First up is the on-field value.
Okay.
This isn't just basic stats. The platform actually simulates entire leagues, entire competitions.
Wow, okay.
And then it calculates how much adding a specific player improved that club's chances of success, like, say, qualifying for the Champions League.
So it puts a number on their potential contribution to winning.
Exactly. You might get a projection like this midfielder adds 5.1 million in on-field value because they increase tournament qualification chances, prize money, that sort of thing.
Right, tangible value tied to sporting success. What else?
Then there's future transfer value. This looks at how a player's market worth might change over time. It does this by comparing them to similar players historically, seeing how their values grew or declined.
So projecting if they'll be worth more or less down the line, like an asset?
Precisely. It helps clubs see the potential resale value.
Got it. On-field impact and future financial worth.
And it brings those together into an overall ROI prediction, return on investment.
Okay.
This combines that on-field value we talked about with the projected future transfer value. It gives a single picture to help decide if signing the player makes good financial sense.
So it might say, this player offers a potential 2x ROI within 3 years. Something like that.
Something along those lines. It gives a clearer financial rationale beyond just the initial transfer fee.
It's treating the player acquisition much more like a strategic financial decision then.
That's the idea. And it's built to support the club through the whole recruitment process, not just provide standalone numbers.
Right. So how would a club actually use it day to day when they're, say, looking for a new striker?
Okay, so early on, what you might call the top-of-funnel discovery, shortlisting.
Finding potential targets.
Yeah. The AI helps identify players who offer strong value for money. It considers the club's specific needs. Maybe they need pace on the wing or defensive cover. It also factors in constraints like age limits, budget, whether the player needs to be ready immediately.
And critically, you mentioned fitting the club's style.
Yes, the club's specific playing style is a key input. So the suggestions are tailored, not just a generic list of good players.
Much more targeted than traditional scouting might be alone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then, when you get down to the final few candidates, the bottom of funnel.
Comparing the top choices.
Right. SquadAssist lays out the comparison. You see the projected ROI, the expected on-field boost, the future value forecast, and how the asking price stacks up against the platform's calculated value.
So it gives decision makers a clear, side-by-side, data-driven view.
Exactly. Helps identify the best overall signing, lets them check assumptions, see the potential trade-offs. It brings objectivity.
It really sounds like it's borrowing ideas from other data-heavy industries.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You look at finance, retail, they moved beyond just measuring what happened.
Past performance.
Yeah. They moved to predicting future performance and then predicting the impact on the actual business outcomes. Football analytics is kind of catching up.
So there are stages. Like first you measure basic stats.
Right, like tackles, passes, stage 1.
Then you predict performance things like expected goals, maybe.
Exactly, that's stage 2, predicting how well someone might play.
And SquadAssist is trying to operate at stage 3, predicting the overall impact on the club's success, both sporting and financial.
That's the leap it's trying to make. Moving the question from who played well last season to what impact will signing this player have on our results and our bottom line?
So for someone maybe new to sports tech, it's shifting from just stats to understanding the player as a whole investment, a strategic asset.
Perfectly put. And the potential impact is huge. We're talking about improving capital efficiency, how well clubs use their money. The difference between smart and not so smart spending could be enormous, potentially up to $200 million per club per year in value differential.
Wow, that's significant.
It really is.
Maybe just briefly, who's behind this?
Sure. The company was co-founded by Wout Pauls and Martin Wins. Both have backgrounds in computer science, AI, from KU Leuven. Walt also has experience from McKinsey in innovation management, while Martin was involved with InvestSuite and has a background in innovation and entrepreneurship, too. So a blend of tech and business strategy.
Right, relevant experience there.
Definitely.
Okay, so to wrap up then, the core idea is SquadAssist helps football clubs make, well, smarter transfer decisions.
Yeah, by predicting the player's total value performance on the pitch and their financial trajectory.
And for listeners, the key takeaway is that it moves beyond just looking at stats. It's about getting a full picture of a player's potential impact as an investment.
Exactly. It's part of this wider shift in sports towards using data for more informed, more strategic choices.
It certainly gives you something to think about how data is really changing the game behind the scenes in professional sports.
It's a fascinating space to watch.
It really is. Well, thanks for walking us through that. It's been really insightful. Goodbye.